recently had the pleasure of sitting down with our 44th President of the United States of America, Barack Hussein Obama. While he was out promoting his healthcare reform initiative, I requested 30 minutes given the scope and detail of my inquiry. They said I could have 20 minutes, 1,200 seconds. Not a lot of time to question the President about one of the most important events in our nation's history. The following is a transcript of our remarkable discussion.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your demanding schedule.
My pleasure. The content of your request seems like something I should have carved out a few minutes for.
I should point out that I voted for you, as your promises of hope and change, transparency and accountability, as well as putting government back into the hands of the American people, struck an emotional chord in me that I hadn't felt in quite some time, perhaps ever.
I appreciate that, Charlie. The Big Bang Theory, an amazing show. Oh, that's right, 2.5 Men. Big fan, by the way. That Chuck Lorre's a genius.
Sir, I can't imagine when you might find the time to actually watch my show, given the measure of what you inherited.
I have it TiVo'd on Air Force One. Nice break from the traveling press corps. Not to be abrupt or rush you, but you have 19 minutes left.
I'll take that as an invitation to cut to the chase.
I'm all ears, or so I've been told.
Sir, in the very near future, we will be experiencing our first 9/11 anniversary with you as Commander-in-Chief.
Yes, a very solemn day for our nation. A day of reflecting, and yet a day of historical consciousness as well. Oh, dang it, Bobby! The teleprompter's down. What do we... Obama girl? Oh, damn, man. Okay.
Very much so, sir. Very much so indeed. Now, in researching your position regarding the events of 9/11 and the subsequent investigation that followed, am I correct to understand that you fully supported and endorsed the findings of the Commission report, otherwise known as the official story?
Come on, man. Everybody believes the same thing. We all know it's the same stuff.
I really wish that were the case, sir. Are you aware, Mr. President, of the recent stunning revelations that 60% of the 9/11 commissioners have publicly stated that the government agreed not to tell the truth about 9/11, and the Pentagon was engaged in deliberate deception about their response to the attack?
That's just infighting.
Mr. President, it's hard to label this type of friction as infighting, or make the irresponsible leap to thorough, when the evidence I insisted you examine regarding 6 of the 10 members are statements of fact.
No disrespect, Mr. Sheen, but what you trying to say? What you trying to imply?
I am not implying anything, Mr. President. I'm here to present the facts and see what you plan to do with them.
The folder. Yeah, this folder. Khaki, I love khaki color. Let me guess. Your facts allegedly support these claims?
Good guess, Mr. President. Again, sir, these are not my opinions or assumptions. This is all a matter of public record, reported through mainstream media, painstakingly, fact-checked and verified. You'll notice, sir, on page 1 of the dossier, dated August of 6 from the Washington Post, that the statements of John Farmer, senior counsel to the 9/11 Commission, his quote stating, "I was shocked how different the truth was from the way it was described."
Yes.
He goes on to further state, the NORAD air defense tapes told a radically different story from what had been told to us and the public for 2 years. On page 2 and 3, sir, are the statements as well from Commissioner Co-Chairman Thomas Keane and Lee Hamilton, Commissioners Bob Carey, Timothy Romier, and John Lehman, as well as the statements of Commissioner Max Cleland, an ex-senator from Georgia, who resigned, stating, "It is a national scandal. This investigation is now compromised. One of these days we will have to get the full story because the 9/11 issue is so important to America. But this White House wants to cover it up." He also describes President Bush's desire to delay the process as not to damage the 2004 re-election bid, then suspected deception to the point where they considered referring the matter to the Justice Department for criminal investigation. Mr. President, this information alone is unequivocally grounds for a new investigation.
Mistakes were made, but we gotta move forward. We gotta keep this thing from happening to us, and other nations again. Is you ignorant?
Sir, how can we focus on the future when the Commission itself is on record stating that they still do not know the truth?
I wasn't even there. Why don't you ask those cats why they made those mistakes? I mean, instead of messing with me, what, I was the easiest person to track down?
Not exactly, sir. But let's be honest. You're the President of the United States, the leader of the free world. The buck stops with you. 9/11 has been the pretext for the systematic dismantling of our Constitution and Bill of Rights. Your administration is reading from the same playbook that the Bush administration foisted on America through documented secrecy and deception.
Charlie. May I call it Charlie? My ADHD is starting to kick in, and it's making it very hard for me to understand why you're trying to draw parallels between me and the Bush-Cheney regime.
Mr. President, the parallels are not distorted just because you say they are. Let's stick to the facts. You promised to abolish the Patriot Act, and then voted to reauthorize it. You pledged to end warrantless wiretapping against the American people, and now energetically defend it. You decried the practice of rendition, and now continue it. You promised over and over again on the campaign trail that you would end the practice of indefinite detention, and instead, you have expanded it to permanent detention of the detainees without trial. This far exceeds the outrage of the former administration. Call me crazy, Mr. President, but is this not your record?
Charlie, my staff and I brought you here so you can discuss 9/11 and see if there was any information that we did not know. But it seems like you're wandering off topic.
Sir, the examples I just illustrated are a direct result of 9/11.
Come on, man! We gotta move forward and go through these challenging, dangerous years ahead.
My President, we cannot move forward with a bottomless warren of unanswered questions surrounding the day and its aftermath.
It was all in the report. I think you should read it.
I have, sir, and so have thousands of family members of victims, and guess what? They have the same questions I do, and probably a lot more. I didn't lose a loved one on that horrific day, Mr. President, and neither did you. But since then, I, along with millions of other Americans, lost something we held true and dear for most of our lives. In this great country of ours, we lost our hope.
Come on, man! I'm here to restore the hope. I'm here to restore the confidence in our leaders. Me! I'm here for public choice through the peaceful transfer of power. Me!
Mr. President, are you aware of the number of days it took to begin the investigation into JFK's assassination?
I don't know, what, 2 weeks?
Close. 17 days to be exact. Are you aware, sir, how long it took to begin the investigation into Pearl Harbor?
Again, like 2 weeks?
Close again, sir. 11 days to be exact. Are you aware, Mr. President, how long it took to begin the investigation into 9/11?
Man, you know what? All I saw all day were people on TV about 9/11. I felt it was like 3 years.
It was a very long time, Mr. President. 440 days. Roughly 14 months. Does it bother you, Mr. President, that it only took 5 hours for Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld, after the initial attack, to recommend and endorse a full-scale offensive against Iraq?
I don't know.
I have proof, Mr. President, along with scores of documents and facts I'd like you to take a look at. Here.
What are you, a Boy Scout? Seem very prepared, Charlie.
No other way to show up, Mr. President. When in doubt, over-prepare, I always say.
Yeah, now you're starting to sound like the wifey. You know what? I got 99 problems, but my chick ain't one. Hit me.
That's quite a compliment, sir.
Oh, go ahead.
Sir, I'd like to direct your attention to the stacks of documents in the folder I just handed you. The first in from the top is entitled Operation Northwoods, a declassified Pentagon plan to stage terror attacks on U.S. soil, to be blamed on Cuba as a pretext for war.
Yeah, we knew that cat was nuts. That's why we sent him back in the NATO.
I wouldn't be so certain about that, Mr. President.
Charlie. I mean, we can say the same about you.
The next document reads, Declassified Stage Provocation. Now honestly, Mr. President, I wish I was making this stuff up. I'm certain you are familiar with the USS Maine incident, the sinking of Lusitania, which we all know brought us to World War I, and of course, the most famous, the Gulf of Tonkin incident.
Come on, Charlie. What, you think I'm ignorant? Of course I know these names. It's all ancient history.
Mr. President, it has been often said, those who do not know history are doomed to repeat it, and I concede to you, sir, these events are the past.
Come on, man. Times have changed.
No argument, sir. I'm merely inviting you to acknowledge some credibility to the pattern or the theme. Case in point, the next document in your folder. It was published by the think tank Project for a New American Century, and it's entitled Rebuilding America's Defense, and it was written by Dick Cheney and Jeb Bush. To quote from the document, sir,
Future, transformation brings revolution, change, yeah. It's like to be a long one, absent some catastrophic. Yeah, catalytic event. Like a new pearl. I could dig that.
Touché, sir. Your thoughts on this statement, Mr. President?
Come on, Charlie. That's just bad judgment. And a bunch of crazy coincidences.
Interesting angle, sir. Nevertheless, Vice President Cheney didn't stop there. In the early 2008, Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Seymour Hersh and MSNBC both reported that Cheney had proposed to the Pentagon an outrageous plan to have the U.S. Navy create fake Iranian patrol boats to be manned by Navy SEALs, who would then stage an attack on U.S. destroyers in the Strait of Hormuz. This event was to be blamed on Iran and used as a pretext for war. But does any of this information worry you, Mr. President? Should we just ignore it until these realities can be dismissed years from now by our children and ancient history as well?
Of course this worries me. You sitting here trying to imply that 9/11 was some kind of inside job.
Mr. President, I'm not suspiciously implying anything. I'm merely exposing the documents and asking questions that nobody in power will even look at or acknowledge. And as I stated earlier, I voted for you. I believe in your message of hope and change. Mr. President, I have come to you specifically hoping for change. A change in the perception that our government has not yet made itself open and accountable to the people. These are your words, Mr. President, not mine. These lives of thousands were brutally cut short, and those left behind to suffer their infinite pain are with me today, Mr. President. They are with me, in spirit and flesh. And the message we carry will not be silenced anymore by media-fueled mantras insisting how they are supposed to feel. Deciding for them. For 8 long years, what can be thought? What can be said? What can be asked?
You know what? I could dig your passion. And I could dig your conviction. But you cats are just messing around with things y'all don't understand. Y'all don't understand we're trying to protect you.
Mr. President, I realize we're very short on time, so please allow me to run down a list of bullet points that might illuminate some reasons why we don't embrace the warm hug of federal protection.
Yeah, go ahead with that, Charlie.
Please keep in mind, Mr. President, everything I'm about to say is documented as fact and part of the public record. The information you are holding in your hands chronicles and verifies each and every point.
You got 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Okay, first, on the FBI's most wanted list, Osama bin Laden is not charged with the crime of 9/11. When I called the FBI to ask them why this was the case, they replied, there's not enough evidence to link bin Laden to the crime scene. I later discovered he had never even been indicted by the DOJ. Number 2. FBI translator Sybil Edmonds was dismissed and gagged by the DOJ after she revealed that the government had foreknowledge of plans to attack American cities, using planes as bombs as early as April 2001. In July of 2009, Edmonds broke the federal gag order and went public to reveal that Osama bin Laden, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban were all working for the CIA up until the day of 9/11. Number 3. The following is a quote from Mayor Giuliani during an interview on 9/11 with Peter Jennings for ABC News.
I went down to the scene, and we set up headquarters at 75 Berkeley Street, which is right there with the police commissioner, the fire commissioner, and the head of emergency management. And we were operating out of there when we were told that the World Trade Center was going to collapse. And it did collapse before we could actually get out of the building. So we were trapped in the building for 10, 15 minutes, and finally found an exit and got out, walked north, and took a lot of people with us.
Who told them this? To this day, the answer to this question remains unanswered.
Crazy. This cat is crazy. He's just nuts. Honey nuts and oats. You know who is? Wilford Brimley. He used to do all those oatmeal things. Oatmeal, nuts, fish sticks. Kanye West. George Bush hates black people. Fish sticks.
360 reported that the mysterious...
You know, Brimley has been in as much commercials as that Brooke Shields. Didn't she marry that drummer from Danzig? Not about to see the light, and if you want to fight here with me, I can show you what it's like. Got to be out, not about to see the light, and if you want to fight here with me, I can show you what it's like.
Training exercises in North Carolina.
We could call them the Cyril Brothers. Play some Famicom. That was awesome. You know what? Brad Garrett. That cat was funny. He was in Everybody Loves Raymond. Then he did a little crazy show that nobody can find it. Anybody can find me a copy of the first session.
Morning of 9/11. Number 7. World Trade Center Building 7.
Anybody can find me a copy of the first session of Till Death, man. I gotta find that. That was good. You know, Till Death. And then he did the regular Till Death. I think the first Till Death had Vicki Lewis in it. That was funny. What the heck happened in that show? Supposedly, in that show, he had 2 kids, a boy and a girl. And then no one can explain to me what happened to that run. It was like 10 episodes or something. And
He did not exercise that power. 3 months after 9/11.
and it was good, and no one knows what it's like. This is the most baffling thing in the history of all television in the world, is that they can't find this thing to save their lives. It didn't even come out on an extra reel for Till Death. Nothing. I can't find it at all. It's ridiculous. It was an awesome show. That show was better than Till Death. I don't think buried this one. Put the old one in.
Federal agents on an all-terrain vehicle in October 2000.
Whatever happened to that show, Good Times? You know, Good Times, like JJ and all those people. I mean, what was it? What they took it off? Was it so racist that they had to take it off the air? I don't even get that. That don't make no sense. It was a great show. A great show. Good times anytime you need a babe. Good times anytime you need a friend. Anytime you're off for money, like it hustle, like it hustle.
7, over 20 minutes before it fell at 5.
Keeping your head above water, making a wave if you can, temporary layoff, good time, easy credit remorse, scratching in some habits, hanging in the child line, good time, ain't we lucky we got 'em, do, good time, yeah, ooh.
In addition,
Remember that show, What Happened? What happened?
that the building has either collapsed and that this plane did not have airplane faults on it.
Of course, that just reminds me of what's happening now. Martin was in there. Bob Martin. Charlie. You know what, Miss? Dave Chappelle. That cat was funny. Tell me. What did the right hand say to the face?
Will show little real impact damage and a spark.
Smack. Charlie Murphy's brother was Eddie Murphy. I live a life is good. I've traveled each and every highway. Yeah. What's more than this? Thank you.
During the time that was
Genius. Everything went south after that trans thing.
can't say that
Yeah.
the plane.
You know what?
The plane is 30 miles up. And when it got down to the plane is
I mean, come on. Shit, Boomerang with Holly Berry and Tisha Campbell.
of course.
Tisha Campbell was in one of those episodes of Fresh Prince. She played that chick with all that fake hair and stuff. Yes, funny. And that Carlton dude from Fresh Prince, he was in that show with LL Cool J, In the House. Yeah, In the House. Debbie Allen.
A 900-page congressional report on 9/11.
Debbie Allen was in Good Times. She played that drunken girl. Janet Jackson was in Good Times. She went on to be in Different Strokes. Different Strokes had that dude named Dudley, that crazy little kid, man. Remember that one episode with the dude, the pedophile, who tried to like get him to watch these filthy cartoons? That was funny. Oh yeah, Dudley was in Family Matters.
Created until 2004. And even by that
Played that bully. And Selma Hawkins, Miss Dawn herself. She was in Half and Half with that girl Rachel True. Rachel True, man, she's hot. she was in CB4. That was funny. I mean, I can go anywhere with CB4. It had every black person in that one. But I mean, no, okay. She was in Half Baked with Dave Chappelle. See? There you go. Charlie Baby! Man, Mumble Dog face in the banana patch. Gosh, man, gotta get out of here. We gotta get out of this place. If that's the last thing we ever do. We gotta get out of this place. For the better life for me and you. I think this cat's gonna be finished. It seems like he's wrapping it up. Live. You know what? CB4 had Charlie Murphy.
And back up the official versions of the events miraculously survive explosions and fires that we are told melted steel buildings.
Charlie. You crazy. You know, you came all focused and prepared. You know what? No matter what I think about this stuff right here, I respect you. However, I gotta go. Yeah.
Mr. President, one more second. Mr. President, I implore you, based on evidence you now possess, to use your executive power. Prove to us all, sir, that you do, in fact, care. Create a truly comprehensive and open congressional investigation of 9/11 and its aftermath. The families deserve the truth. The American people and the rest of the free world deserve the truth, Mr. President.
Oops, that's the Freemason handshake.
Make sure you're on the right side of history.
History? I am history, son. I have my people call your people. Easy. Was that camera there the whole time?
May I mumble Dogface to the banana patch?